Hello Ratbags, it's Jade Plays Games with the mini access show, taking a look at news, information and rumours and gossip going around. I say that rumour and gossip because we are delving into Bethesda and Elder Scrolls territory. A few days ago, in fact about 4 or 5 days ago, lots of news outlets were reporting that trademarks had been filed for a brand new IP or brand new copyright. They were calling it REDFALL. Now, I first saw this on YouTube over the weekend thanks to ESO. I'm going to leave the link down below for his video, but then delved into it deeper and started looking around at some other news articles. I'm a big Skyrim fan. I have to say, I'm not a big fan of some of the other stuff. I've never really completed Oblivion, and the Elder Scrolls Online I thought was just a bit meh. But absolutely, I fell in love with Bethesda games really when Skyrim came out, and I would be absolutely going mental if they released any more information about a brand new sequel. Of course, Elder Scrolls 6 was teased at E3. That was to help with the influx of brand new games or brand new IP that was coming. Anyway, the trademark application for REDFALL went through on September the 10th. Now, REDFALL is significant because it dictates or brings to mind the Redguard faction. So we're going to go into that information as well. I'm just going to pretty much reiterate what you may have already seen over the weekend. I'm also going to be talking about why the Elder Scrolls 6 may not be REDFALL, or if it is, REDFALL will actually encompass 2 regions, not just 1. So before we get started, make sure you're liking this video and let's crack on with the Elder Scrolls 6 info. So way back in June 2016, the idea or thought of Elder Scrolls 6 was being touted around. This interview with IGN, pretty much similar to the one they done this year, explains that it's obviously something the company's going to be looking forward to, it's something they love, but it's going to be a very long way off. At that time, they also acknowledged that they're working currently on 2 other large products alongside the new Elder Scrolls. In fact, he said it's likely they'll hear about them before the next Elder Scrolls game is announced. So the interview goes on to say and stress that they are always thinking long term. Now, 2 years later, we do kind of know what them 2 projects were. It turns out Starfield was also announced at E3 this year properly, and Fallout 76. To my mind, they are the 2 big projects. Now, at this year's E3 showcase, after they had announced all the information about Fallout 76 and the brand new Elder Scrolls Blades mobile game, they did then just wow everyone with teaser trailers for the Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield. If you don't know, Starfield is a brand new IP and that's meant to be coming out before the Elder Scrolls 6. Now, the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer didn't show too much, just a sweeping shot of a landscape. And when Preston asked for details, Todd Howard explained that it's really only in pre-production. They haven't even got an internal build of the game going yet. So very much in stages of early art. So regardless of this brand new copyright situation going on with REDFALL, we really may not see the next Elder Scrolls game until at least 2020 or 2021. Maybe even possibly longer. Todd Howard has gone on record to say that the next 2 games, Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, may not be on current generation consoles and they will be on the next generation of consoles. Also last week, Pete Hines confirmed that he's had some information about the next generation consoles. In the interview here, he talks about how the jump from PS3 and Xbox 360 to PS4 and Xbox One was massive. So anyway, just a side note that despite us talking about Elder Scrolls 6 now, it's going to be probably at least 4 years, maybe longer away. So why did Bethesda announce it this E3? Well, they kind of wanted to reassure fans. They knew they were doing something very different with Fallout 76, and the backlash against that game has been significant, with lots of fans bemoaning the fact it's going to be PvP centric and the fact that it's going to be an online game. Now, since then, they've softened it a lot and they've taken out a lot of the PvP sort of high parts of the game that were going to be in there, and that's dictated by watching any of the Vortex videos. You'll realise how much PvP is actually on show. Nevertheless, it scared a lot of the fan faithful of Fallout. But what better way than reassuring your fans than giving a teaser trailer for something they're really comfortable with, which would be the Elder Scrolls. So there you go, a bit of a backstory around Elder Scrolls 6, what we've learned so far and when you can expect to play it. But now let's talk about the important question, where will it be set? Now, lots of YouTubers over the weekend have proclaimed that it's more likely going to be Hammerfell. Now, I'm not 100% some Elder Scrolls historian, so bear with me and correct me if I make any mistakes. But I do believe REDFALL was actually a time or period in Hammerfell's history. Hammerfell is a very desert-like region, so we're going to be going, as that thumbnail dictates, from snowy biomes of Skyrim to more desert environments, something like Assassin's Creed Origins. It's home to the Red Guards, of course, who are very much a Middle Eastern style type of race. But of course there are other races there, and I do believe it's home to lots of orcs as well. Now, Hammerfell does have more than just deserts, of course. It does have mountain ranges, it does have highlands, it has coastal areas as well as grasslands. But the big majority of it is the Dakfron Desert. So this is where I'm going to go a bit different than what most people are suggesting about the next expansion in the Elder Scrolls series. I do believe they're going to encompass High Rock as well. When you think about Skyrim and the size of it, you could probably imagine that Skyrim, just based off this tiny little part of the map here, fits probably neatly into around the same size as Hammerfell. But as we know, games have expanded. It's been 7 years since Skyrim, and by the time Hammerfell, REDFALL, whatever they're going to call it, comes out, it'll probably be something close to 12 years. People want bigger games, they want bigger worlds. We've seen that with Fallout 76, the map for that is going to be 4 times bigger than the map for Fallout 4. So I think it goes without saying that whatever happens in the next Elder Scrolls series, the map does have to be consistently larger. So what better way than encompassing 2 regions, not just Hammerfell, but High Rock as well. In the past, Hammerfell has only appeared in a game in 1998. I don't think it was that memorable, and I'm not really going to, like I say, go through the history of it, because I just don't know. I'm not going to bullshit you. But from little bits and pieces I have read, High Rock has never been really featured in the game. Now, what sets this apart from just being some sort of ESO expansion? Well, trademarks do lean towards something more on lines of a single player experience. Now, these trademarks can be a bit baggy, they're not always 100% accurate, and they generally compass a lot of things just to protect it. Bethesda are no strangers to getting stuff copyrighted nice and early. We knew about Starfield in 2013 because of trademarks. So when you think about that, that was 5 years ago, and by the time we see Starfield, which is rumoured to be a good 3 years away as well, it's going to be a considerable amount of time. So in my opinion, out of all the areas and the regions they're going to cover, I don't think they're going to be returning anywhere soon. I think it's going to be something fairly new or something that hasn't been revisited that much in the past, and Hammerfell certainly fits the bill. Depending on what time zone you go into, it's all over the place. There's lots of different ways they could take it, or it could be a brand new up-to-date version, i.e. it could be set after the events of Skyrim, which is the most current or recent events in the Elder Scrolls lore. I think by including High Rock, like I said, it gives them even more opportunity to offer more diverse biomes rather than the bulk of it just being a desert region. It also presents itself, maybe there'll be other things, auxiliary things, like there's a lot of coast here. Maybe there will be boats and ships for you to sail. That may seem like a huge departure for the Elder Scrolls, but obviously they're pushing things all the time. If we can have horses running around in Skyrim and in Oblivion, why can't we have some boats running around the coast? I do get the impression that the Elder Scrolls 6 is pretty much going to be like Assassin's Creed Origins. If you guys know more about the Hammerfell region and some of the lore, please fill me in. Come and join Discord. We've got a channel set up just for Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls, not to mention Fallout 76 and Fallout in general. So absolutely come and fill me in if you think there's anything more relevant about or whether or not it's going to be set here. The only other exception that I was thinking about possibly was this. Maybe it's going to be a DLC. Maybe it's not going to be necessarily something just for a brand new game. But it seemed like a lot of effort to go through right now just to name some DLC. And like I said, the nature of the copyrights does suggest it's not going to be for something like ESO. It is going to be for its own singular experience. Now, a lot of Elder Scrolls fans are going to hate me right now, but what if it actually turned out to be another side game like Fallout 76? What if it turns out to be the equivalent set in the Elder Scrolls universe? I don't think they're going to do that. I think they've probably realised there's a lot of backlash already, and it's probably just a bit too much to turn 2 of your favourite franchises into online games like this. Going back over all the theories that came in when it got announced, it certainly does look like it might encompass High Rock. But I do really think it's not going to just be that landmass, it will be others as well. And just to reiterate, you can really sense the size, the scope of it when you compare Hammerfell size to Skyrim size. They're about the same. So having that extra big landmass really will give the game more scope to do other stuff with. So of course, alongside with reassuring the fans, they did also just want to stress that they've always been keen to return to these games. So are you hyped about the possibility of a brand new Elder Scrolls game? Is it far too early to get that interested in it? Literally, by the time it comes out, we will be looking at a brand new generation of consoles, and it would have been over 10 years since the last Elder Scrolls game came out. It does raise an interesting question though. Why did we have 2 Elder Scrolls games on the Xbox 360? 2 Fallout games, obviously including Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, all on the last generation. But this generation, we've only had the reduck of Skyrim, ESO, and of course now Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. And again, some of them are offshoots, they're not really the main games of course. It does strike me really odd that the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One have set records for the amount of consoles they've sold, far outdoing what they used to do on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Is this why they've gone for new IPs like Starfield to try and branch out? Or is it just a simple case of them just taking the time because they can, because they're a very big successful company? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about Elder Scrolls 6. If it's not set in the Hammerfell region, where do you think it's going to be set? And let me know any extra lore I should do by joining Discord. I am Jade Plays Games for all the information about Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and lots more coming with roleplays, early access games, new games and updates you need to know about your favourite games. Make sure you've got notifications turned on. And I will see you rat bags for another video very soon.